Today, I'm going to talk to you about self-publishing. I am an indie author. I am very proud of the fact that I am an indie author, and I chose to be an indie author instead of trying to pursue traditional publishing. So today, I'm going to share with you these 7 reasons why I decided to do that and what I believe to be the 7 pros and biggest pros to self-publishing. So before we get into the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to my channel. I'm the author of young adult supernatural thriller They Stay, which is this book right here. It is a supernatural thriller about a girl whose younger brother goes missing, and she goes on this quest to find him and teams up with a girl at her school who can see ghosts. And it turns out that the reason he went missing was for kind of a creepy paranormal reason. So she goes and gets involved with that. And this is the first in a series. So if you are interested in any kind of books that have to do with ghosts or paranormal creepiness, then definitely check it out. And I'm also the author of the second book in that series, They Whisper. I'm currently working on the third book in that series. It is not out yet, but it will be at some point once I finish writing it. And yeah, like and subscribe. I make lots of content about books and about writing. Really, it's like a writing related channel. And I've just taken a lot of classes and done a lot of courses and spent a long time learning how to write. I published my debut novel when I was 16, and ever since then I've been very determined to get better at writing because this is what I love to do. So this is a channel where I just share all the things that helped me improve as a writer and that really clicked in my brain in the hopes that it also helps you. I feel like it's impossible to improve as a writer without experimenting a ton. So these are I'm just throwing things at you that you can experiment with to see if they help you. So without further ado, let's get into this video and these 7 reasons. So there are definitely cons to self-publishing. Like there are definitely more upfront costs and there's sometimes lower visibility as well. I know, with the really big traditional published titles, you get on, the New York Times bestseller lists. You can't get on New York Times bestseller lists as an indie author. You can get on the USA Today bestselling lists, but it's a little bit harder because you don't have a publishing house that is paying for a lot of the marketing. You have to do a lot of that yourself. But at the same time, you have a lot of authors who are traditionally published who don't get the same kind of budget or backing from a traditional publisher than those like A-list authors at the top of the New York Times bestseller list. And now authors, from what I've heard, are expected to do a lot of the marketing themselves. So you still have to market your traditionally published books. So I think that there are a lot of pros to self-publishing. I very strongly believe that this was the right decision for me when I started to publish my books, and I'm so glad that I am currently self-publishing. So my first major pro for self-publishing and the reason why I decided I wanted to self-publish was so that I could have control over the design of my books. What's really awesome is that when you're a self-publisher, you get the final say over your cover and your title and your interior formatting and your editing. You get to choose exactly what book you are publishing, and you can make decisions over every single element of the process, which is very cool. You get final say over the title of the book. You get final say over the cover. Nobody else gets a say above yours. So you don't have the same built-in support as a publishing house. Like you don't have a built-in cover designer that works with the publishing house or the same resources that you would get at a huge big 5 publisher. But what's really cool is that when you're self-publishing, you can pick and choose and kind of cherry pick different freelance people and build your own team of editors and cover designers and people like that. And I mean, you have to know where to look, but there are a lot of different resources for different places where you can find cover designers and editors. So I am going to quickly give a shout out to my team of people that I work with to publish my books and all the different amazing freelance people I've been able to find since I've started self-publishing. So my editor is Perry Isles, and he's fantastic. I'm so glad that I was able to find Perry and work with him. He's worked with me on They Stay and also They Whisper, and he's currently working with me on the 3rd book in the series, They Return. Perry is super involved, super funny. He constantly comes up with different ideas for different ways that I can improve scenes and different directions I can take the story in that I wouldn't have thought of otherwise. He's fantastic. If you wanted to reach out to Perry about potentially editing a project of yours, this is his email address right there. You should absolutely reach out to him. He's amazing. Then these are my cover design people. I work with books covered to get the covers of my books designed. They are just fantastic. They've been super awesome to work with. I mean, they make just the most beautiful covers. I remember when I first found out about them and looked on this website, I was just blown away by how stunning these covers are. So, yep, these are the people I work with to design my covers. And I've also worked with Eve Porenchak before to do developmental editing on my series. She's super nice, amazing, amazing critiques of my books and my plot. I am so grateful for just like the sharp insight that she was able to give me when I was first starting this series, because it really helped me clarify exactly what I wanted to do and where I wanted to take the story. And I've also worked with Susan Chang before. She's amazing and has had a long history working in traditional publishing and now does a lot of freelancing. And she's given me some really amazing insights into my prose style and different ways that I can improve, and has really helped push me to become a better writer. So all of these amazing people are freelancers. I've just been able to work with them. I haven't had to be affiliated with any big publishing house. And I think it's really amazing to have the freedom and flexibility to be able to work with every single individual that I want to and build a team that is like perfect for my series and my genre and my writing goals. So that is one of my first favorite things about self-publishing. The second reason that I chose to self-publish is that I get to choose my own timeline when I self-publish. So the big thing with choosing your own timeline is release dates. When you are a self-published author, you get to choose exactly when your books come out, and nobody decides that for you. So if you wanted to write and publish one book every single month, you can do that. If you wanted to write a book and publish it every 2 weeks, you can do that. If you wanted to write a book and publish it every 6 months, you can do that. A year, you can do that. You are the one that is able to set publishing dates and goal and release dates that work best for you, the genre you're writing in, your writing speed, and the market. So I think that's really cool to have that kind of flexibility. I know that I'm aiming to do one book every 6 months, but currently They Return, the third book in my series, is taking a little longer to write than They Whisper did. I think mainly because it's going to be a longer book and it's a little bit more involved. So They Whisper came out exactly 6 months after they stated. They Return is going to come out a little bit later, but in the interim, I'm going to probably have some other things to release in order to bridge that gap. It's just, I was able to really listen to myself and figure out, They Whisper was coming along great and I was ready to publish it. But with They Return, I need a little bit more time. So now I can set that release date. And if something happens and I'm able to finish it earlier than I thought I would be able to, I can easily move that release date up to accommodate for that. So everything revolves around you and your writing speeds and what you feel comfortable with doing, which is a really awesome thing. I like how I don't have to rely on anyone else and anyone else's timelines other than the freelance team that I work with. Obviously, I have to work with them and figure out what times are fit into their schedule for helping me with these projects. But overall, I'm able to really set it at my own pace, which I really love. So this third reason that I decided to self-publish is that there are no gatekeepers in self-publishing. Now, I might catch a little bit of heat for saying this because having gatekeepers is often cited as a pro of traditional publishing, because there are people who believe that it's good to have gatekeepers to filter out people who do not write or write to the standard that people want to have in the young adult space. Or there's still a bit of a stigma around indie publishing and self-publishing where people say that the gatekeepers are able to filter out the people that are not actually good writers and can't produce quality literature. And I think that this is very frustrating because I'm a firm believer that, first of all, that people will only publish what they believe to be their best work and things that they're proud of. They're not going to publish something that they are deeply, deeply embarrassed of. I mean, I think so, probably. In general, they won't publish something that they are deeply embarrassed of. But I also think that people and readers can decide for themselves what is quality and what isn't quality. And people's tastes in stories and art in general varies so much that there is enough room out there for everyone who has a story, has written it, and wants to share it with the world. There are so many self-published books who were denied traditional publishing deals that have rabid fan bases who people make tons of fan art for. The reviews are really glowing. And so I don't think that gatekeepers necessarily are the right people to judge the quality of stories. And I think that it felt for me, and it still does, very frustrating when people who are in the traditional publishing world talk down to people who are self-publishing, or talk about people who are self-publishing in a way that demeans them or the quality of the work that they produce. I think that people, if they, like anyone, regardless of age and writing experience, should be able to publish and share stories. I published my debut novel in high school. I'm so proud of myself for putting myself out there. The book I published in high school was by no means a literary masterpiece. There are a lot of things I would do differently if I wrote that book today. There are tons of plot holes. The world building was kind of flimsy, but I loved that story. Just did nothing but think about that story all the time when I was like 14 and 15. And I've had people, after reading that book, email me telling me that they had fallen in love with the story and the characters, and it got them out of a reading slump, and it was a really meaningful story to them. And that, to me, made it worth publishing, even though, it didn't become a smash hit, or it wasn't this immaculate book, and it probably would not have gotten a traditional publishing deal had I actually been querying it and trying to get it there. And also, a lot of stories don't fit the traditional mold in young adults. And I think a lot of the YA market generally follows, there are certain things or time periods where certain genres are very hot. The fantasy will be very hot sometimes, and dystopian books will be very hot sometimes. And people will be looking to buy those types of books. And I think it's very cool in self-publishing how you can publish what you want to publish no matter the timing. Also, if you have a dystopian book that you really want to publish, you can publish it while the market really is typically geared toward fantasy. And if you're still going to be able to find readers for it. So just generally, I don't like people who get on their high horses and tell people that they are not capable of writing and publishing a quality book. I think there's enough space out there for everyone who wants to publish a book. And I think that people's readers are out there if you know how to connect to them. Everyone should be able to publish a book. I don't like this might sound judgy. I don't mean for it to sound judgy against traditional publishing. I have a lot of respect for traditional publishing. My long-term goal is to eventually become a hybrid author and also try to move into traditional publishing while still also self-publishing. But I just don't like it when people act all elitist about self-publishing and talk down to self-published authors and self-published stories, because I think that people can tell really meaningful stories and choose to self-publish for very valid reasons, and it doesn't mean that their stories are lesser in quality at all. So I will stop preaching about that, but that is another reason that I liked the idea of self-publishing, is because I wouldn't have anybody telling me I wasn't good enough or I couldn't publish this book because of all of these little silly reasons. When maybe I wouldn't have gotten a traditional publishing deal on They Stay had I queried it, but I have found very many readers who really deeply enjoy it. And I know that that's a story that I hear a lot with self-published authors. And, certain people, if they don't get a publishing deal, then they'll publish their book, and then they'll have readers that just absolutely adore their story. So whether or not you get a traditional publishing deal typically does not have any bearing over whether or not you're going to find readers who enjoy your story. But okay. Rant is over. Wow. Okay, I'm done rambling about that. But my fourth reason why I chose to self-publish is that I wanted to hold on to my rights. So when you are a self-published author, you maintain complete and full control of the rights that you have to your story. I currently own all of the rights to my series. I don't have to sell them to anyone in order to publish them. They are all 100% mine, so I can choose exactly how I use my characters and intellectual property, and I don't have to get into any tricky things when it comes to that. I find this to be a powerful thing. I really like having sole ownership over my intellectual property, and I can decide what I want to do with it. So that is another reason that I chose to self-publish. The fifth reason that I chose to self-publish is because of all the pricing control that you get with self-publishing. I can run sales whenever I want to. I can price my book at whatever I want to. I can discount it or raise the price whenever I want to. I am the one that makes all of those decisions, and I like having that flexibility and freedom when it comes to figuring out what model works best for selling my books. So when you're an indie author, you can price things. I mean, on Amazon, you can price things from, like, you can give them away for free. You can price things at $0 and have perma-free books, so books that are permanently free. You can be selling ebooks at 99 cents. Typically, the range that they give you is $2.99 to $9.99, but you can price your book at whatever you want to. So I think that this is pretty powerful because it allows indie authors to have more competitive pricing than traditionally published authors, because the publishers, I'm pretty sure, set the pricing. I might be wrong about this. I don't actually know, but I know that they don't have as much control. Like, all it would take is for me to log into my Amazon publishing account and just change the price and click submit, and then within 72 hours, it would have a different price. So I really like that because it allows me to do things like run the free promotion sale that I did a couple of months ago. I just recently posted an update video about that. I posted a video back in April talking about how I had given away the first book in my series for free leading up to the release in the second book of my series, just free for 5 days. And I did some newsletter promotions for it. And then I have seen some really cool results from that. And I wouldn't have that same flexibility to choose when I wanted to do that if I were traditionally published and had to go through other people to set prices. So I really like that about self-publishing. That was a big plus for me. The sixth reason that I chose to self-publish and I like it so much is because I can revise my book as much as I want to. It's really easy to just re-upload things and change things around because I have total control over the formatting and everything of the book, and also the distribution. So I'm the one with the formatting program, and I can update my files whenever I want to, and then I can re-upload them to like Amazon or to Ingram Spark or any of these big distributors. And then I will have updated book files to print whenever anyone orders the book. So the way that the books are sold, like through Amazon, is through a print on demand system. This is also the same thing with Ingram Spark. So when someone orders your book, their printers will print the book whenever someone orders the book. Like, they have, all these big printers, and they'll just print it whenever there is demand to print it, and then they'll ship it to the person. So I can change the files in the, Backstage file portal or whatever, whenever I want to. And then after that point, whenever anybody orders the book, the new file will be printed and sent to them. So I really like this because if I catch typos, I can fix them. If I want to update my back matter, I can update my back matter very easily. So after They Whisper came out, I was able to update my back matter and say, They Whisper out on April 12th, 2022, instead of saying like coming soon. I'm able to keep everything very current. If I wanted to change any links, I can easily change links. And all of that is made super easy because I have full control over the distribution. So I like that because I constantly find typos in my books, even though it's so stupid and frustrating because I have professional editors. I have it professionally proofread. It's not like tons of people's eyes are not on this book. I proofread it myself at least twice. I have my friends proof it. I have my parents read it, and then still typos are able to slip through. But whenever I find them, I can just fix them and re-upload the file. So everything is all good for the next people that pick up the book. So I like that. That also goes into the whole flexibility thing. And then the last reason that I chose to self-publish is the higher royalty rates. When you are self-publishing, you get way more royalties from the books that you sell. I earn 70% royalties of every ebook that I sell in Amazon or like on the Amazon Kindle store. I pulled this quote from the internet. It reads, authors who self-publish on Amazon through KDP also earn a 70% royalty on books priced between $2.99 and $9.99, and a 35% royalty on books that cost more or less than that. This is really cool because you don't have to pay any kind of percentage to your agent or to your publisher. I know that the percentage of royalties that traditionally published authors make is lower than 70%. So I really like that I'm able to earn more for the books, which also kind of helps. It helps make up for the fact that sometimes you don't get as much visibility as you do when you are traditionally published, at least at the beginning. So I really love that about self-publishing. And that is the 7th reason why I chose to do it. So just in general, I think that there's more flexibility with self-publishing than there is with traditional publishing. And because so many traditional publishing houses rely or are starting to rely on authors to do a lot of their own marketing anyway, I chose to self-publish just because I figured if I was going to be doing a lot of my own marketing, I might as well be earning those higher royalty rates and holding on to my rights and having full control. And I really like it because I can put forward a book and a product that is very professional because I hire this team of amazing freelance editors and cover designers. So like the product is very professional, but it's also completely authentic and exactly the story that I want to tell. It's not, I haven't had anyone try to tell me that I can't title it what I wanted to title it or write certain subplots that I wanted to write. Like all of what's in the book is just 100% what I feel is right for the story. And so it's a very authentic self-expression, which feels very good in my gut. Like I'm very proud of my work, and I like being able to say that like I had full control over putting it into the world and sharing it with people. So that's kind of the background on why I chose to self-publish. Obviously, there are many perks to traditional publishing. This is not supposed to be a video that is trying to bash traditional publishing at all. As I mentioned before, I would love to one day start dipping my toe into traditional publishing and moving into, while also continuing to self-publish, also looking into traditional publishing and kind of doing a hybrid combination of those things. But I think that self-publishing is a really amazing and powerful option for people. And if you are also looking to self-publish and have any questions about it whatsoever, comment on this video and I would be super happy to chat with you about it or answer anything. I have a bunch of resources that helped me a lot when there was about a year and a half before I published They Stay, where I had decided that I was going to self-publish They Stay and I wanted to learn as much about the industry as possible. And so I just dove in and listened to podcasts all the time and read books about it and just tried to soak up as much knowledge as I could. So I can link all those resources in the description of this video. And if you have any specific questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like it and also subscribe to my channel. I make videos like this and talk about different aspects of writing and publishing. I've started recently experimenting with filming a lot of these in one take. This is the first kind of traditional informative video that I've filmed in one take. Usually I'll do kind of longer form interactive ones, but this one I'm pre-recording in advance. So if you've been trying to talk to me during the chat and I haven't been responding, that's because I'm not actually live right now. But I'm so far enjoying filming these all in one take. It feels more informal to me, like we're actually having a conversation instead of me trying to micromanage everything that I say. Because when I was filming them not in one take, I would just continuously say sentences over and over and over again, and until it was exactly what I wanted to say, and it felt a little stilted. So I think this sounds a little more casual and natural, and maybe is more entertaining to watch. I don't know. You'll have to tell me. But yeah, okay. Thank you, everybody. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time during my next video.